Hello everyone. I hope all of you are doing great. A lot of exciting things are happening in the Atlassian ecosystem, and today we want to cover some of those updates, recent updates. In case you are new to this channel, this podcast, we make regular videos and share content. And these updates, this session is all about helping you understand what is the latest happening in the Atlassian ecosystem. Now, the first update I have for you is about the Bitbuckets, Bitbucket pipelines, and there is a support for larger cache and artifacts. So this is a new update because Bitbucket is getting a lot of changes. Bitbucket is getting new features. We also use Bitbucket pipelines. We have just started using it and exploring it a bit more in detail. And this update is talking about support for larger cache for paid plans and also expanded artifact limits. So if you want to know more about these things, you can take a look at these documents for caches and pipeline artifacts. So the whole idea here, as per Atlassian, is to make sure that you are able to build quickly and efficiently. You are able to, uh, deploy your code and expect your pipelines to run. And along with that, of course, you have these pipeline artifacts, which are basically files that are generated and that you want to use. So just take a look at these two updates. The whole idea here is that you're getting more for your plan. So this is something that I wanted to share. Bitbucket pipelines is directly competing with, of course, GitLab and GitHub pipelines as well. I have used both. Personally, I use GitLab for my personal projects, but I of course also want to use Bitbucket mainly because we are consultants. We help our clients with Atlassian tools, and Bitbucket is something that we also cover, right? So I'm always trying to understand what is happening with Bitbucket, all the new features, and Bitbucket pipelines is definitely interesting. So I thought I'll share. Recently, Bitbucket pipelines, or Bitbucket in general, not just pipelines, but Bitbucket workspaces, they, uh, they got some changes, especially with the billing. So now you need to make sure that your workspace, your Bitbucket workspace, is attached to an organization. So in case you haven't done it, then go and take a look at your Bitbucket. Just log into your Bitbucket and take a look. You need to go to your admin.atlassian.net and you will notice one organization created for you. I have already migrated or associated my Bitbucket workspaces to my organizations, and I think last month Atlassian was supposed to do it for all. Basically, if you don't have any organization, Atlassian will create an organization for you. So just log in and take a look. So Bitbucket is actually now uh, in the last few months, and especially in the last 2 years, I've seen a lot of getting Bitbucket getting a lot of updates and new features. Okay, so the next update is about Atlassian analytics. This one is interesting, especially for me because I deal a lot with reports. And when it comes to using Jira, people want to report, people want to know what is happening in the tool. And Jira native reporting is, of course, limited. You can do wonderful reporting, but it is not really going to tell you each and everything that you want to know because Jira is not really a reporting engine. Yes, we have apps like EasyBI that will take it to the next level, but EasyBI also has its limitations. You can't really do heavy reporting on EasyBI. And in many companies, people use external tools. They dump data from Jira to those tools and then they report on it. So Atlassian Analytics, the concept is same. Atlassian Analytics is like a data lake where you write your own SQL and you basically just fetch the information. But Atlassian Analytics also has been getting a lot of updates. This new update is about work item sprint mapping and work item hierarchy. So this is very obvious when it comes to work item sprint mapping. It is basically a one-to-one mapping of sprint ID and work item ID. So in case you're trying to understand by looking at your data in Jira, or when you're trying to report on Jira data on on maybe Atlassian Analytics, you want to know in which sprint this particular work item is planned or scheduled, or it was completed, right? Something like that. So this is something that you can now fetch and you can now use. So this is something really good. Similarly, we also have work item hierarchy, and work item hierarchy is also very important because you want to know when you're doing planning, when you're doing some strategic planning at very high level. Usually when it comes to Jira, you have these different levels. Of course, you have epic, story, and subtasks, but on top of your epic, you may have initiatives. On top of your initiatives, you may have capabilities or goals, right? And when you start planning the work for maybe a quarter or maybe 6 months, then you want to know, maybe based on your role, what is happening at the initiative level. You may not really want to know at the story level. Maybe you're just interested in your epic. Maybe you're just interested in the status of your initiative, or maybe the status of your capability or goals. Now, these things can be done even right now in Jira, but reporting on it is not very easy or straightforward. You have to do a lot of tricks. You have to make sure that your data is accurate. You have like the right hierarchy configured, and you're following a process. But when you want to report on it, then it's another problem. And this is what I think this work item hierarchy will solve. It will give you an easy access to your hierarchy, which you can use in your reports. It will basically tell you that, okay, if you're talking about a goal, maybe it is level 1 or level 2 and so on. So this is something that you can do now, hopefully, with the help of Atlassian Analytics. And I thought, I'll cover it. I know a lot of big companies, they are trying Atlassian Analytics. Atlassian Analytics is new, and it is getting a lot of attention from Atlassian as well. And by the way, on this particular post, there is a video where you can take a look at the use case. So in case you're using Atlassian Analytics already in your organization, this might be interesting update for you. The next update is about Bitbucket again. Now, there is something called as Flaky test detection. Basically, when you're running your test cases, you may get some failures, and those failures are not really failures, but some not so well written test cases can trigger those failures, but in reality they are not failures. So Bitbucket test is Bitbucket pipelines now has this flaky test detection, and I believe it is because I was doing some reading. I believe it will give you some scores, and those scores is something that you can use to make sure that your test cases that you have written are improved or can be improved. So I think it will give you a scope of improvement. As I just mentioned, we are also trying to learn Bitbucket pipelines and automated builds and test cases. We are trying to, because we build Forge apps, and when you're building Forge apps, you can definitely use Bitbucket pipelines because it makes sense. And we do have plans to share more details and get into the specifics of Forge app development with Bitbucket pipelines, and of course running tests automatically based on your commits, or maybe when you merge your code. So this is also good news from Atlassian. I think Atlassian is now trying to compete with other industry standard tools when it comes to test management. So yeah, this is really good, and I thought I'll mention this. And by the way, if you are trying to figure out these links, don't worry about it. We will share a link where you can find all the links which I'm covering today in this session. Then the next thing that I want to talk about is the Atlassian community event. So this event, making Confluence work, practical ways to improve usage. Basically, this is all about Confluence, and I was interested in this because this is actually in Oxford. Oxford is a bit far from, I mean, not too far, but it is, I think, maybe 45 minutes drive from my place. And I had no idea that there is a community in Oxford as well. I know there are a couple of communities in London. So I know there is a community in London, and there was one community in Maidenhead, which is like really close to my house, and that is it. I know there are a couple of communities in the UK, but not really a lot. But this is interesting. Oxford is, of course, we all know about Oxford. I'm not really sure if there are people who are actually there. I can see here that it's only 4 RSVPs. It says a workshop, so not really a lot of people are interested. But I'm sure people who live in Oxford or nearby areas, I'm sure they use Jira. I'm sure they do something on Jira, and maybe this event is a good opportunity. So I thought I'll just mention it. If you are in the if you're in the UK, especially if you live around Oxford, maybe you can join. It is on 22nd of April, so yeah, I think a couple of weeks from now. Okay, so the next thing that I want to talk about is the blog of the week. So we recently started making videos on focused videos. I mean, we have been making those videos for a long time, but we started talking a lot about migration. And when it comes to migrations from Jira data center to cloud or Confluence data center to cloud, you have to, of course, keep in mind a few things. And in this particular post, we just, highlighted those important points. We also made a video, by the way, on this topic, but I think this post will help you if you want to, just quickly understand. So do consider reading this blog post. And of course, if you are interested in, or if you are in a process of migrating your cloud instance from data center to cloud, or your data center instance from on-prem to cloud, do reach out to us. We can definitely help you, and maybe we can be engaged for doing some initial assessment or cleanup or audit, or maybe you can also let us do your migration. So yeah, this blog will help you. And also the last thing that I want to talk about is this video which I made recently. Now we all have been talking about automation rules. Recently I covered this use case where you may want to fetch the sprint end date using automation rule. And I made this video because there was a question on the community where someone was asking, like, Ravi, we want to update the sprint date and the issue due date automatically. So when you add if you're using, let us say, timeline view or advanced roadmaps, the issue end date or issue due date, not really an end date, issue due date can get updated automatically based on the sprint end date. But it is only one time. You don't really, when you change the sprint dates or when you move the issue to another sprint, the due date will not get updated. But fortunately, using automation rules, you can fetch the sprint end date and then you can do something with that particular date. So I just made a video out of it, and I thought, this could be interesting. If you're interested in learning automation rules, on my website or my channel, there are plenty of videos. So just go to my website, ravisagar.in, and then if you go to this Mastering Jira Cloud Automation, this is basically the place where you will find all the videos on automations. And by the way, I'm talking about Jira automations, but recently I also started making videos on Confluence Cloud automations. So Confluence also has automation tools that you can use to do wonderful things. And if you're interested, if you are trying to learn Confluence automations, then those videos will definitely help. So just go to my channel, Ravi Sagar, and you can watch those videos. All right, that is it. That is all I have for you in this session, in this video, in this podcast. I hope you enjoyed watching this session and also listening to it on podcast. And you also learned something new today. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.